I'm Tom from DIY Life Tech, and this is a look at making matcha tea with my Nespresso maker. So Nespresso is designed for brewing espresso, but it also has this really awesome steamer on many of the Nespresso makers, and it's a great tool if you want to steam milk in order to make tea or make, in this case, a matcha latte. So I've got my sweet matcha mix here. And you can see we're going to do 8 ounces of milk, and we're going to do 1 tablespoon of the mix. And it says here specifically that you can steam it until frothy. So definitely a good use case for this machine. But in order to do this, there's a couple things we have to keep in mind. So firstly, let's make sure we've got enough water. I think we have enough water to do the steaming here because it is going to heat that water to produce the steam. Now let's take, this is my DeLonghi Nespresso maker. There's a lot that have different kinds of steamers, but for this one, we're going to go ahead and open up the steamer here. So 8 ounces is 1 cup. So we're going to go ahead and do a cup of milk here. We'll pour that into the steamer. Okay, and then we'll put the lid back on here. And then we're going to put the steamer onto our Nespresso maker, switch it on if you haven't already so that we're warmed up and ready to go here. And then we're going to put a mug or a glass or whatever you want to brew this into underneath here. So I like the glass ones because you can see the drink. I mean, matcha is really pretty, so it's nice to get that. It's also got to be big enough because we're going to whisk later, as we'll see. So we got our 8 ounces of milk. We got this ready to go. Now we just want to open this and make sure there's no pod loaded in here. And we'll see why that's important in a moment. Now let's press our milk setting. I'm going to use the bigger setting here. And it's going to take a second to warm up, and then it's going to go ahead and steam the milk through there. And you get this lovely steamed milk, you know, literally at the press of a button. You get quite a lot of nice foam on top, and that's going to make for a delicious matcha. Now what you want to watch out for is when this finishes, at least on this Nespresso maker, by default it's going to immediately try to start brewing espresso because it thinks it's making a latte. So to just get the steamed milk, we want to wait until just the moment that it finishes, and then when we hear it stop, we're going to press this button to shut it off before it tries to brew. And if you miss it, because we removed the pod, it's just going to be brewing a bit of hot water through there. So it should be okay, but again, when you hear it start to peter out, press that, cancel, and we're good to go. We just have this thing with steamed milk and no espresso or water brewed into it. Now let's go ahead and get out our matcha. Oh, and I should say, if it doesn't finish all of the milk in the first run, you can always run it again until you use up all the milk to get your full 8 ounces. So that's all I'm going to go ahead and do here. There we go. Now I got a proper 8 ounces of steamed milk. Quite a lot of milk here, quite substantial. It's awesome, looks great. So now let's get out our matcha. So open this up, we've got some pouches in here. You can use any matcha mix. This is a nice sweetened matcha mix. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this pouch open. And there we go, it looks beautiful. Nice green color to it. And let's take out a tablespoon. There we are, a tablespoon, maybe a little bit more. We're gonna go ahead and add that in to our steamed milk. And now you definitely want to whisk it or whip this in nicely. So they make dedicated matcha whisks, which are really cool. You can get one of those if you want to really get fancy here, or you can use a fork, or if you have a small whisk, like a wire whisk. This is my OXO Good Grips whisk. You can really get in there. You want to whisk it in, you want to get that powder fully mixed so you don't get any kind of graininess or anything in your final drink. So go ahead, you know, use this as a meditative opportunity to do a little quiet, mindful whisking here until everything is all mixed up. And the beautiful end result here is this awesome matcha latte. And you can see, even though we did all that mixing, we still preserve a lot of the foam on top of the drink there, because again, it did a great job of steaming this and getting quite a lot of foam in there in the first place. Beautiful color. We've got the separation of the foam and the sort of milk and matcha mix on the bottom. And let's go ahead and try it. Well, it's really delicious. It's really, you know, exactly what you expect from a matcha latte. It's steamy. It's got that nice milk froth on top. It's a little bit sweet because I use the sweet matcha. You've got that kind of deep, complex green tea flavor, a little bit floral, but kind of a little bit astringent, really powerful, delicious matcha flavor mixed in there. And again, I think this is a super easy, really delicious, really wonderful way to make matcha at home using your Nespresso maker. So I'm definitely going to enjoy this, sit and you know, contemplate the world and drink my matcha tea here. And I think, you know, again, Nespresso is a great way to make that happen. If you enjoyed this video, you found it helpful, please subscribe to my channel. It really helps.